Hello everyone, my name is Yoon and welcome to the Young Emperor. In this video I'm going to be teaching you how to play 13. Now this is an example of how to play a 13. If you want to know how to play 13, my videos is in my channel. And before I start, I just want to remind everyone that there are many different ways to play 13. The way I play would be different than particularly how you play. People from your area. So you guys want to really set the rules when you're playing 13. But I've been playing 13 for 3 years. This is the rules that made sense to me, that made the most logical way for me. So I'm just going to be showing you an example of, let's say, a 1 vs 1. And just a little background on me as I organize my cards. I've been playing 13 since beginning of high school, which was 10th grade. And from then, my first year as sophomore, I lost about $30. In my junior year, I made about $200, and my senior year I made about $800. So together throughout my high school career playing 13 for 10 to 20 minutes a day, I made about $1,000. So when it comes to 13, I know what I'm talking about. I know the tricks and tips like that. But as we begin right here, I can see already I have what's called a cut up, and then I begin. So I'm going to begin by playing double threes, and I can already tell that there's a good chance I'm going to lose. So I mean, there's multiple choices that I can do. I can either play a single three, and my opponent's going to play a low card, and let's say it's a 5. So I can play my 6, and then my opponent's going to play a 9. I can get rid of my 10, and then at best it's my king, and then the person who's going to play his 2. I get rid of my cut up, and then I play my 3, and then my jack. That's the best scenario possible that I have, because I do not have great cards in my hands to really play around with trying to win. I don't have great cards, so my best option is to try to get rid of as many cards as possible, because this hand that I have, I will not win with this hand. So let's say I played a pair of 3s, or at best 3 to 7, then I risk the chance of my opponent possibly beating this, and then now I'm stuck with 5 singles and a 3 pair straight, which my opponent will probably not play anything lower than a 7, because I have a lot of low cards and there's still 26 other cards in the deck. So this is a thought process that you need to take if you're playing 13 for serious cash. So to already begin, I already have my plan. I'm not going to win, so I'm just going to try to get rid of as much cards as I can. So let's look at my opponent's hand. Now you gotta also keep in mind, it really depends on how experienced your opponents are. The longer they've played, the more they know. So you really need to watch out for that. And I'll talk to you what I mean by that later. This seems more than 13 cards. It is 13 though. Alright, so let me just lay it out right here. And then just trying not to. Alright, you guys have all the visuals. Alright, so I'll begin by playing my single 3, my opponent plays his 3. I play my 4, my opponent plays his 6. I play my 6, my opponent plays his 7. I play my 10, my opponent plays his Q. Play my king, my opponent plays his 2. I play a cut, and then I play my 3. So I'm left with the jack. My opponent will play his ace because he played his highest 2. But if he had a higher 2, he could play the 2. So I already, as I predicted, I already know I have single jack left. And my opponent will play his straight and then 2 tens. This jack isn't the exact card I predicted, but I predicted that I was going to end up with 1. So this is how you basically know that without me looking at my opponent's hand, I already knew how the game was going to be played out within a couple of seconds. So that's a thought process that you really have to go through. You have to really think, how am I going to start? Which is the best option for me to start. If I play the double 3s, my opponent would have played the double 9s, which would leave me with a bunch of single cards, and my opponent would have started with the 3 of hearts, and I had 2 3s that I could not get rid of. One 3 of clovers. So that would have been worse for me to have a 3 of clovers at the end, other than a jack. So that's an example of how a 13 is played. Now let's try to play another game. I don't want to make this video too long. I don't know if I'm boring you guys, but really practice your shuffle. Know how to shuffle your cards, because the better you shuffle, the more the people who don't know how to shuffle are going to give you the cards to shuffle. And the more you have the cards in your hands, the better. And that's a trick that I can teach you guys later. So, opening up my hand, it's not that great. Again, you do get these hands. There's nothing you can do about it. It's all on the chance. So, as I look, 4, 4, 5, 6, 6, 7, 8, 8, ace, ace, 10, 10, 2. So what am I going to do? I can either do it, let's say my opponent doesn't have a 3, I can start with my 4. I can either play a pairs or a straight, get rid of some cards, and hope my opponent won't beat it. The chances of my opponent beating maybe a 5-card straight isn't that great, but there is still the possibility. But that's something I could risk, because if I play a double 4, my opponents will definitely have higher pairs. If I play a double 4, most likely, since I have a lot of low cards, my opponent will play a higher double pair. And then maybe I can get rid of my double 8s and double 10s. And then my opponent might play double kings, and I get rid of my aces. Now I could play my 5, 6, 7, which puts me in a bad position, because 5, 6, 7 is a low 3-card straight. And then my opponent, if he's smart enough, will counter that 3-card straight, and I will have to pass, and my opponent will play pairs or straights and then win the game. But that is a good potential risk factor that I can take, because it's only 2 cards, and if my opponent doesn't have a 2, but I have a 2 of, I would feel comfortable doing this strategy if I had 2 of hearts, because 2 of hearts is the highest single most powerful card in the game. For me, I have 2 of spades, which is the lowest card in the game, so I do not feel comfortable taking that risk. So to put it back together, if I do take the path of playing straight, I would be left with 3 singles, 4 singles, and there's a good chance my opponent won't have 5 cards straight. For reason 1, I have 2 10s. In order for my opponent to play a higher 5 cards straight, he would need ace, king, queen, jack, and a 10. But I have 2 10s out of the 2 other ones, which is in the other half of the deck. But there is still a possibility. But my odds are in my favor. So if I play this, my opponent passes, I play a 6, and then I might be able to play an 8, and then maybe a 2, double 10s. If my opponent doesn't beat this, I'll play my double 10s, aces, and then I end with the 6, which is the better option for me. But the likelihood of my opponent having a 3 is still great. So, but if my opponent doesn't have a 3, that is the best option for me, unless I want to play a double game, which is beating my opponent with doubles. But that's enough talking for my part. Let's try to start the game. Just organize my cards back again here. So looking at my opponent's hand, he has the 3 double 3s, and then as I predicted, he does not have the 10. Ace, king, queen, jack, 9, 9, 9, 8, 7, 6, 2 of hearts, and a 4, and double 3s. So, if I was my opponent, the best possible option for me is, if I play a single 3, I can get rid of a single, I can get, this is where it gets a little bit difficult. If I play double 3s, I don't have any doubles to counter it except for my 9s, which opens up, if my opponent has more pairs than me, it opens up his opportunity to get rid of a lot of cards. But I do have 2 of hearts, which is the key game controlling card in the whole game. So if my opponent, I'll speak for my opponent just so we don't get confused. So if I play double 3s, I'll play my double 9s, and I'll lose control of the game. But later on, he will possibly, most likely, play a single, which will give me a control of 2. Because if my opponent does have a 2, he cannot end the game with a 2 of hearts. With a 2. So since he can't end with the 2, I know I can beat his 2, and most likely he will not have a cut up. So this is the backup net. But if I play a single, what I can do is I can play my 2, play my triple, 6, 7, 8, king, queen, jack, play my 3, and purposely lose with a single card of a 4, which means if I'm playing up with $1 per card, I only lose $1, which is not bad. So, how should I start is the question. Me having a 2 of hearts is a great safety net for me. So I would rather play double 3s and then play my double 9s next. And then after that play 8, 7, 6. Yeah. So that's to start the game without me talking. I don't want to bore you guys. So, double 4s, double 9s, double 10s, and my opponent passes because he cannot beat the double 10s. So I know he does not have any more doubles. So it will be stupid of me if I play a straight. Because if my opponent doesn't have doubles, if he can't beat pair of tens, he might have something higher. But, he might have something lower. But I know he doesn't have doubles, so I'm going to take advantage of that. I'm going to play my double sixes, my opponent doesn't have it. Play my eights, my opponent does not have it. And then this is where it gets a little bit, tricky for me. Do I waste double aces? And then my opponent will not still have it. I play my 5, 2. I know my opponent will have a higher 2 than me, and I lose purposely with a single card. Or do I risk it and play a 5, and then my opponent might play something higher, and I play my 2, and play my double aces, and try to win if my opponent doesn't have a 2. But this is not, but there's a possibility I might end up with 3 cards, $3 instead of $1. So this is not a chance that I'm willing to take, because in the end, your objective is to win as much money as you can and lose the least amount of money. So I'll play my double aces, my opponent does not have it, so I'll play my 5, my opponent plays a 2, so I lose $2 basically, because my opponent will play straight, and with the 2. So, not exactly, everything's not in your control all the time. You can make the best of your situation, but that's, as I said before, the thought process that you should take when you're playing 13. Now, I played 13 for a long time, so I know exactly how to play things, what to do. But please check out my next video. I'm going to have much more secrets in depth of how to actually control the game even if you have the worst cards possible. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, leave any comments, questions, recommendations that you might have. Thank you.